They are but poor men in smocks and sheepskins, whereas you—" Without concluding his words, the Prince shot a glance at Chichikov's smoked grey shot with flame colour apparel. Then he touched a bell. "Your Highness!" cried Chichikov, "have mercy upon me! You are the father of a family. Spare me for the sake of my aged mother." "Rubbish!" exclaimed the Prince. "Even as before you besought me for the sake of a wife and children whom you did not even possess, so now you would speak to me of an aged mother." "Your Highness!" protested Chichikov, "though I am a wretch and the lowest of rascals, and though it is true that I lied when I told you that I possessed a wife and children, I swear that, as God is my witness, it has always been my desire to possess a wife, and to fulfil all the duties of a man and citizen, and to earn the respect of my fellows and the authorities. But what could be done against the force of circumstances? By hook or by crook I have ever been forced to win a living, though confronted at every step by wiles and temptations and traitorous enemies and despoilers. So much has this been so that my life has, throughout, resembled a bark tossed by tempestuous waves, a bark driven at the mercy of the winds. Ah! I am only a man, your Highness!" And in a moment the tears had gushed in torrents from his eyes, and he had fallen forward at the Prince's feet, fallen forward just as he was, in his smoked grey shot with flame colour frock coat, his velvet waistcoat, his satin tie, and his exquisitely fitting breeches, while from his neatly brushed pate, as again and again he struck his hand against his forehead, there came an odorous whiff of best quality eau de cologne. "Away with him!" exclaimed the Prince to the gendarme who had just entered. "Summon the escort to remove him." "Your Highness!" Chichikov cried again as he clasped the Prince's knees. But shuddering all over, and struggling to free himself, the Prince repeated his order for the prisoner's removal. "Your Highness, I say that I will not leave this room until you have accorded me mercy!" cried Chichikov as he clung to the Prince's leg with such tenacity that, frock coat and all, he began to be dragged along the floor. "Away with him, I say!" once more the Prince exclaimed, with the sort of indefinable aversion which one feels at the sight of a repulsive insect which he cannot summon up the courage to crush with his boot. So convulsively did the Prince shudder that Chichikov, clinging to his leg, received a kick on the nose. Yet still the prisoner retained his hold, until at length a couple of burly gendarmes tore him away and, grasping his arms, hurried him, pale, dishevelled, and in that strange half-conscious condition into which a man sinks when he sees before him only the dark, terrible figure of death, the phantom which is so abhorrent to all our natures, from the building. But on the threshold the party came face to face with Murazov, and in Chichikov's heart the circumstance revived a ray of hope. Wresting himself with almost supernatural strength from the grasp of the escorting gendarmes, he threw himself at the feet of the horror-stricken old man. "Paul Ivanovitch!" Murazov exclaimed. "What has happened to you?" "Save me!" gasped Chichikov. "They are taking me away to prison and death!" Yet almost as he spoke the gendarmes seized him again, and hurried him away so swiftly that Murazov's reply escaped his ears. End of Part 2, Chapter 4, Section 2. Recording by Kalinda in Raymond, New Hampshire, on November 16th, 2007.